I've been trying to get this vision of this card deck on paper for at least a week now. I've I've had this vision birthing and building and working on it for several weeks, and at least, but I can talk about it and I get super excited because it's super passionate for me. Um, but I sit down to write it out and explain what I see with these cards and um, what I hope that the kids get from them. Um, I sit down and I just draw a blank. So if I'm chatting with somebody, I have a good friend that I've been messaging with back and forth, and she's been kind of a sounding board, and I can talk about it all day long. But to get it on paper has just been a struggle. Yesterday, I was talking to my um, granddaughter, and she, I said something about needing her face. Um, what this card deck is going to be is emotions, but it'll be real candid photos of kids' faces so that children can identify and um, understand what they're feeling and be able to express their feelings and emotions, which is super, super important. But I asked my granddaughter, and she says, "No, I don't want my face on cards." And that kind of threw me because I just expected my grandkids, I'd have their faces. And Bug, I need your face. She has super, super expressive facial. She has an attitude. Yeah, she's very precocious and very lovable. She's super passionate and she just has an awesome expressive face. But she did promise me that she would wait to say no until she heard my explanation of what these cards are supposed to be and why I'm creating them. So here it is, Bug. Um, Several months ago, one of my friends had posted about her little guy. I think he's about 4. Um, he was having some behavioral issues and he wouldn't talk. And a lot of that is, especially at that age, kids don't know how to verbally express what they feel. They're little and they have these huge emotions and they don't know how to explain it verbally or even understand it. I mean, hell, as adults, sometimes we don't know how to express what we feel. Uh, so, Ashley, you can credit Pressler for planting the seed that birthed this vision, um, giving kids tools to be able to identify what they feel without any preset cues. Like these are going to be black and white, no colors, um, just candid shots of kids' faces and um, different, all different emotions. I have this really cool uh, emotion wheel that starts out with the basic, I believe six or eight, and then goes on, with more expressive uh, pieces and descriptions of, like they're sad. You're sad, but are you sad because you're scared or because you're disgusted? So things like that. But for little tiny ones, it'll be just basic letting them look through and, see what faces they see and what they relate to. And, you know, having questions about, is it, this is what you feel like? What is it? How do you feel? Are you sad, happy, scared, frustrated, whatever? And, then go on deeper into how does that make you feel? Where do you feel it? What color is it? what shape is it, where do you feel it in your body, um, and teaching them through playing with these cards and these pictures that they can lean into their emotions, and they can make them bigger or smaller depending on how it feels good or bad to them, but letting them understand that there is no right or wrong, no good or bad. It just is. Their feelings are important. And kids with trauma, which is my passion, and my purpose is to work with kids to heal trauma. And if you haven't seen what my vision is for that, it's huge. And there is a whole nother video on that, but trauma is the gateway to so much, to addictions, to behavioral issues, to mental health issues, to physical health issues. And when kids have trauma very young, they don't understand it. They don't know why they feel the way they do. And, the trauma can be something that even the parents don't understand or can't identify. My kids went through obvious trauma that I understand and I can look back, but some of them were too young to even know that the issues that they have as adults, that was created by the trauma that they had as kids that they don't even remember. And that's, been my biggest why, is I see what my kids are dealing with as adults. And if we can work with children younger, very young, as soon as they start understanding, even really little kids that are just learning to talk, they can look at these cards and they can see the facial expressions. And even if they can't speak, they can work with their parents or, whoever, and say, this is what I feel. It's kind of like a little guy I worked with years ago. We used PECS, which was a picture exchange communication system. He was very limited verbally, and so we used PECS, and so he had pictures for everything. And so this can be, for really young kids, this can be like that. They can say, pick out a face and say, and the parents can discuss it. They're like sponges at that age, and that helps them grow into dealing with their emotions and understanding them and identifying them. And then, preschoolers that are talking, they can learn how to verbalize what they feel and learn that they can, like I said, they can lean into it if they like the way it feels. Grow that energy. Emotions are just energy in motion, and they can grow it bigger and let it make them feel great. Or if they don't like the way it feels, they can make it smaller and they can disintegrate it. They can burn it up, visualization. And that's where I see this deck, going into so much more than just looking at the faces. They can learn visualization and mindfulness practices and meditation, and they can learn how to move the emotions through. They can feel into them and release them, and then they don't get stuck and create trauma. And so it's all part of the trauma healing process. And so this is, not just for little kids, it's for all ages. And I can even see this, being useful for adults, because sometimes we really don't know how to express or identify what we feel and how to move the emotions through, and release the ones that don't feel good. We get angry, and something that is trivial makes us angry, and we hold on to it, and we're just mad all day. And so then we've lost a whole day to being angry. And, what a waste, because we can shift that and we can flip-flop it. And, something that could be a 5-minute mindfulness practice that you realize, hey, I feel like shit and I'm pissed off. And so stop and take a minute or 5 and release it and go on with your day and not cause yourself that pain and hurt. And not only that, but then, when you're angry, you lash out and you hurt other people, and then you feel guilty, and guilt and shame are horrible emotions. That's a lot of the trauma that I've had to heal was guilt and shame. And I think those are two of the deepest emotions that create trauma, that get stuck in our bodies and cause physical issues, cause mental health issues, and there's no reason for it to take years to get rid of. And so, Bug, that's what these cards are for, to help kids just like you and your brothers and your cousins and your friends to be able to understand what you feel, and if you like it, to make it bigger and feel that more, and if you don't like it, then to learn how to make it smaller and move it through your body and out and release it, and you don't have to think about it anymore, so you don't get stuck in those emotions that don't feel good, and you can learn how to choose your emotions and what does feel good. So to the parents that I have talked to that have offered to let me use photos of their children, I am super excited, and you'll definitely get a beta set of cards for you and your kids. I am going to work on a waiver form, and just so everything is legal and nothing bites anybody in the ass later on. So get in touch with me, and I will get that to you as soon as possible. I really have set the intention and the goal to launch this deck this month. So I'm hoping to have a beta set in the next week or so. So I'm going to need pictures really fast. So I will get this video out and get working on the waiver form, and we'll go from there.